Namaskar. My name is Rashmi Misra and I'm honored and privileged to be with you here today. Especially a big thank you to TEDxYouth, SunbeamBhagwanpur for giving me this wonderful opportunity to talk to youth today. Youth are the future leaders of the world. We look at you as taking on the challenges of the 21st century and creating a much finer world for all of us, humankind as well as for our earth. Beyond the boundaries on new paths, what does that mean to you? Often in life you may have come across that you took a step or made a decision that you would not normally take. But what it did for you is that it gave you a huge amount of satisfaction and fulfillment, and you made a difference to many other lives. Normally we always follow what the society has requested us to do. We are trained in a certain degree, we have an engineering degree, so we follow that path. But sometimes that doesn't really give you the full excitement and the joy that you would really love to do. And we know that you are very fortunate that you grew up with a beautiful education, you have the support of your family and your loved ones. You have a professional career ahead of you and everybody looks up to you to follow that. But in case there is something in your mind, a dream that you have and you want to fulfill that, don't forget to go off the rails, do what you want to do and make that a huge success. Because it's each one of us, when we love what we do, you make a huge difference. You become the power of one, as we call it. And the power of one can change many, many more lives. You don't have to worry about the results of that, because when you put your full energy and life into something, the universe makes it happen and it supports what you do if it's in the right and the truthful way that you do it. I know of several people in my life who actually broke away from very successful professional careers to do something which is meaningful to their lives and where they found that they could actually make a dream come true. Yes, they worked very hard towards that, but the joy and the fulfillment was unique and it made them into much better human beings and joyful people, and they got the support from everyone around them, including their families. So I would suggest that you think of that. You think of how you can go ahead and do divergent things that will give you the joy. Break that path, find your new way, and do things that you would love to do. Albert Einstein once said, the way to happiness is towards focusing on a goal rather than focusing on people and objects. Breaking boundaries is not always a very easy thing, but it's very satisfying. When you do something you truly love and you put your whole self into it, you realize that you can be very successful. It takes grit, hard work, a lot of effort, sometimes even a failure, but it's yours and nothing is impossible. So it is wonderful if you look at it that way and be bold and brave and go ahead. As we know, in today's world, we have so many startups in our country. Many of them have turned into unicorns. And what were they? They were just an idea that they started with, and they're so successful. 37 years ago, I also broke boundaries. I wanted to help those in need, especially young girls, and I realized that that is my mission. I grew up in an army family and traveled all over the country. Studied at the Lady Shri Ram College in New Delhi and went on to do a degree in German. I taught German for 10 years. I was also a dancer and I studied and performed and taught Odissi across Delhi and Bombay. I am married to a professor and a scientist from the IITs, and I spent almost 30 years of my life in these beautiful campuses of IIT Delhi and IIT Bombay. My organization, Vidya, started from IIT Delhi. As you know, this beautiful center of excellence has a wall around it, and across the wall, all you find is a completely different life. It's slums and children who don't even get an opportunity to go to school. IIT Delhi, there's a break in the wall with a big sewage canal in which young girls from the nearby slums spent all their time playing with their siblings. One day I took the courage and I walked up to these girls and I said, "Why aren't you in school?" And they laughed at me and they said, "School? Where are you coming from? Don't you know that only boys go to school?" In their mind, in their belief, only boys had the opportunity to go to school. I did not sleep for 3 nights, and I went back and I talked to the girls. Would you want to study? And I said, of course you want to study. And the next thing I knew, they had come home to me. And there was, from the 5 of them, as you see right here, they became 20 and many more. And what was so beautiful was that the beginning of education transformed them, because they brought it to their everyday life. They were confident. They could start even thinking of a dream and going forward. In 36 years of my experience, one of the greatest lessons I learned is that the importance of education, that education is magical. When you educate someone, you transform that person. And in Vidya's philosophy, we offer a very high-end education to every child, youth or woman who comes into Vidya, so that they can have a standing chance to be job ready and be the change. I'd like to bring you to the story of Badra Sen Negi. Badra Sen was a young boy from Kinnaur district, Himachal, a shepherd, and he ran away from home and came to study in Delhi and worked as a servant. Finally, one day he showed up in front of me and he said, I'm 5th class pass, can you make me an engineer? And believe it or not, with Vidya's support, today he's a computer science engineer at Long Beach, California, works for the government of LA. And because of him, every child in the Kinnaur district goes to school and they all want to be like Badra Sen. 60% of our students are girls and women. Vidya works directly in communities and slums, empowering and educating women. In fact, during the pandemic, it is our women who were skilled by us who actually supported their husbands and their families. Almost 90% of our women, once they come through the Vidya program, are able to get jobs. What we do is we provide them an outstanding program in IT, English, life skills, and a skill which is certified, which is both sewing as well as embroidery and creative arts. Many are even drivers. For example, Vatsala was from Vidya Bangalore, was washing dishes in 5-6 homes till she came to Vidya. Today, she is working as a receptionist in a hospital, speaks fluent English, and is able to do all the IT work as well. She also has a driving license where she can make her own side money with driving a taxi. Similarly, we have many of our girls who actually, after trading from Vidya, joined Urban Clap and getting over almost 20,000 rupees a month today. I'd like to share with you the story about Neelam. Neelam is a mother of 3 children, lost her husband and had absolutely no way of earning any income till Vidya educated her, gave her a loan of 3,000 rupees from which she started her first microcredit effort to try and start a business. Today, she has 300 women employed and she wants to help many more, and her children are going to university. So what we do is we make a big attempt to educate every woman who comes into Vidya. They're conversant in English, they learn IT, and they also learn the soft skills, so they're able to reach out and get jobs. I'd like to bring you now to a girl called Mamta. Mamta was a paraplegic. She was locked up in a home for 14 years till Vidya discovered her and brought her out. She completed her graduation, and today she runs a cyber cafe in Nainital. The few stories that I shared with you, the stories of Badra Sen, of Vatsala, of Neelam and of Mamta, are just a few examples of the thousands that we have transformed in these many years at Vidya. They were from very underprivileged homes. They had no chance of actually making a dream come true, but they broke boundaries and Vidya assisted them. And that is why they stand out today as champions for youth. They're examples of what is possible if you have a dream and if you break boundaries and take things forward. Today, Vidya works out of 45 government schools across the country. What we provide is a high-quality education in English, spoken English, computers, and life skills. And we transform the children with our joyful education. We're looking forward to the future where many more children can be affected with our digital reimagination program that we're taking forward across, so that we can digitally share our curriculum with many more government schools and many more such children. I'd like to bring you to the Vidya School, Gurgaon. The Vidya School, Gurgaon is a role model school for children of first generation families to get the high class education so that they can actually be the movers of change and the leaders of tomorrow. It's an English medium CBSE school, which 20% of our children qualify Mensa, and our children speak impeccable English. In Haryana state competitions with other children of privileged schools, our children have stood out in mathematics, computers, robotics, dance, music, art, theatre. We are really, really proud of our Vidya alumni. There are shining stars who have really raised the bar at Vidya. They have, from their education at Vidya and with their own hard work and effort, they are now studying at some of the best universities of our country. They're in the IITs, in NITs, in Lady Shri Ram College for Women, many of the colleges of Delhi University, and recently in the IIM. So we share with you some lovely pictures of our alumni, a very well-known alumni. This is Sanjana. Sanjana got 93% in her 12th board, studied at Lady Shri Ram College, as present planning to do the UPSC exam. She changed her grandmother. Today her grandmother stands outside the village to invite all the girls to go to school, which never happened before. Komal, from IP College, a computer science graduate, is also sitting for the UPSC exam. She's a change leader. She started her own NGO. We have Vikram, who now works for Oracle, went to NIT, Kurukshetra, and is coming back to Vidya to actually give back and to teach our children. And of course, you have Anshul, who is now in the IM, and we are really, really proud of him. He got into 3 IMs. But he chose to go to Ranchi and is doing extremely well, also comes back to work with our children. Every child in Vidya is a success story, in my opinion. It's amazing. During the COVID times, we had young children, 6 to 9 years old, who started a Bal Panchayat to see how they can help the community and their parents through COVID. So there's this young boy here, and they had a problem where they were getting insufficient water. So, and the parents were all fighting and angry about how the water was being utilized. And he thought of a solution. He went to his father and said, "What will it take for you to not to fight?" And he says, "All you need to do is collect 200 rupees from each family and we'll create more water sources." And sure enough, this young boy went and collected the money and made sure that everybody got water and there was no more fighting. So the Bal Panchayat is children of the youngest age group at Vidya, turning out to be young leaders already and working to solve community issues. Ronald Reagan once said, "There are no constraints on the human mind, no walls around the human spirit, no barriers to our progress except those that we ourselves erect." We are so blessed to belong to this land, our homeland, India. You have every opportunity. You are the youngest country of the world. And there is so much opportunity for you to be the change. So while you make your plans, your audacious goals going forward, think of yourself as a world citizen. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Your world is your family. And as you create your goals and make your changes, don't forget to be humbled, to be compassionate, to look at everyone with that equal spirit. Try and educate at least one person. One person that will make a huge difference. Think of how you can help with climate change, with ecology, and make sure that the women around you are empowered and have a right to that. They have a right to education. Swami Vivekananda once said, "You have to work from the inside out. You have to understand yourself. And when you follow your dream, follow your heart, break those boundaries, and move forward with great courage and grit and hard work, there is no question that you will not be successful." We are all here to see how you, each one of you, can make a big difference together. I like to share a beautiful thought by Oscar Wilde. "You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." Thank you so much for your kind listening. I wish you all the very best. Namaste.